instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
Guys, welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if it can haunt, howl, or dwell in the dark, we want to talk about it. And tonight, we're getting into the Flatwoods Monster. Oh, yes. And right off the bat, Sam Heimer, I'm not doing coke. I have my, tri-monthly upper respiratory tract infection. So there is some congestion, and we're gonna just power through it. Sam, I'm not partying here, bro. I'm just just got, tis the season.
Tis.
All right, guys. Before we get into the Flatwoods Monster, we're gonna bring you tonight. Our jump scare is another audio submission, and this is from Melissa from Conshohocken.
Hey guys, this is Melissa. I live in Conshohocken, right outside of Philadelphia, and I've been listening to Other Dangers for a little while now. I really enjoy the podcast. I absolutely love your antics, and I just wanted to be able to submit a story. Hopefully this sounds okay, because I am driving currently. So I've had a few different experiences that were pretty odd things that I just can't explain. So the one that I wanted to share involves a little cemetery. It is in Lower Providence, PA, and I just happened to be driving by with one of my kids one day, and it was February a few years back. The snow was very melty. You could tell there was like a thaw that was coming, right? So I tend to I need a sticker that says I break for cemeteries, because I love little graveyards and cemeteries. I love taking pictures in there. Love finding old strange headstones. So as soon as my daughter, who was probably 14 at the time, saw this little cemetery on the side of the road, she's like, "You want to stop, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yes." So we did. We pulled over. There was kind of this little alcove in front of the gate of the cemetery, which was on a side road. The cemetery itself was at a 4-way stop, so I believe it's called St. John's Cemetery, and I believe it's in Lower Providence. So this little cemetery has a gate, and I think normally you would be able to drive through it, but at that time the gate was closed. I just parked there, and my daughter was playing a video game on her phone. So she said, I'm gonna finish this game, and then I'll meet you in there. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go take some pictures. So I did. I went in, was taking photos. I was just nosing around, looking at things in the cemetery. Came across this giant stone slab that said Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And there are little pebbles and pennies and things on it, as you do when you visit a cemetery. And you could kind of see that behind this giant stone slab, it almost just looked like it was just like a hole in the ground. So I'm thinking, I wonder, is there a gate? Is there a door? What? Is the stone slab the only thing that prevents you from seeing straight into this hole in the ground? So I'm kind of peeking around the stone, and I'm looking, and I'm shining my phone light in there, and I could see nothing at all. So I'm like, okay. So I decided, I took a few pictures, and I'm looking around, and there were these two stones that I decided I was going to take pictures of, and in order to get photos of them, I had to turn my back to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. So I kind of squatted down on the balls of my feet, and I was trying to take a picture. And sorry, the road was rough there. And I was about to take the photo when my daughter tugged on my hoodie and almost knocked me on my butt. So I kind of regained my footing before like my butt hit the ground, and I hopped up because, like I said, the snow was melting. It was very mushy outside. It was chilly because it was February, but it wasn't like freezing cold out at that point. So I'm thinking, if I fall on my butt, I'm going to get soaked. But as I stand up and turn around, my daughter is nowhere to be found. So I'm thinking she's totally screwing with me. She's hiding behind, like, one of the little buildings, of mausoleums or whatever. And I start looking for her. And as I round the corner, I see that she is still sitting in my car, still playing a video game on her phone. And I completely got goosebumps and walked over to the car. And she said, "You're done already?" And I'm like, "No, you don't understand." So, I kind of relayed the story to her. And she's suddenly like, "Oh man, we got to get back in there. We got to, check this out." So we go back. I explained to her, show her where it happened. I showed her what I was doing. I squat down again. I try to take another picture. And my phone turns itself off. So at the time, my phone was at about 60%. And I could not get it to turn back on. And sometimes that sort of thing will happen if it's too hot outside, if it's too cold outside. It really wasn't so cold out. Like, I was just wearing a hoodie. It's not like it was so cold that I needed like a hat and gloves and a winter coat or whatever. It wasn't that bad out. So I don't think it was cold enough that it would have drained my battery that way. So I try to turn my phone back on, and it just keeps flashing that I need to plug it in. So she hands me her phone and says, "Here, take it with mine." So I try to take a picture using her phone, and it turns itself off. So we're just like, you know what? I think we're done here. So we get back to my car, plug in my phone. It turns on and turns itself back off. And I try the same thing with hers. It turns on, says it's I think hers was at like 19%. And again, when I plugged mine in, it would say it's at like 60%, but I could not get the phone to stay on. It just kept turning back off. So my daughter said, "We just need to get out of here. Just let's go," right? And I was like, I was taking a back way, so I'm like, I don't exactly know which way is home, so I need to get this phone to turn back on so I can use the map app. So we drive away from the cemetery about a mile, maybe, not even. And we get to this little florist down the road. And I park there, and I plug my phone back in, and it immediately starts up. And we try hers, and it immediately starts back up. So, yeah, I don't know. It was just the weirdest thing, because if you're a little off balance, the difference between like feeling like you're not balancing on your feet well and being tugged. It definitely felt like someone tugged the back of my hoodie, enough that it yanked me to a point where I lost my balance, right? And I can't explain what happened with the phone. It was very strange. And again, they worked fine once we were away from the cemetery. So my daughter is not a believer. She is the biggest skeptic you'll ever meet. I've always been fascinated by ghost stories. I've had a few experiences, this being one of them. So I'm probably more easy to convince that I think that this was something supernatural. But even she said, it was definitely weird, and she wanted no part of it. She just wanted to leave. So yeah, that is my cemetery story. I actually had something similar happen when I was with a friend in Rhode Island. I grew up in Rhode Island, so when I was visiting her a few years back, a couple summers ago, we went to Swan Point, which I know you guys know is the resting place of H.P. Lovecraft. And very similar reaction, different phone, mind you, it was a different phone, but I tried to take pictures of Lovecraft's headstone and his family stone, and my phone would turn itself off. So I would walk over to my friend's car to plug my phone in, and the second I got off the grass and onto the concrete path where the car was parked, my phone would come back on. And I would walk onto the grass, and I would approach his headstone, and my phone would turn itself back off. So at some point, she was able to take pictures, but for whatever reason, I couldn't take pictures with my phone. Once we left the cemetery, my phone stopped malfunctioning. So I really don't get it. Like, I don't know why she was able to take pictures and I was not able to. And that was like a spring day, or no, it was like a summer day. So that, shouldn't have been an issue at all, but just strange little occurrences that I thought I would share. Thanks so much for your podcast, guys. I cannot wait to listen to whatever new one is coming up next. Just so much fun, dwelling in the dark and listening to the podcast and listening to your antics. So keep up the good work, fellas.
Wow. Oh, man.
Wow. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you very much. And you know what? Yeah, those other Dangerous boys bring the antics. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we're here for. It's just antics. Before we record, we're like, Ken, what kind of antics do you want to bring this week?
And I open up my notebook and I'm like, all right.
Well, first of all, Melissa, a woman after my own heart, because creeping around cemeteries and stopping because, hey, look, there was a little cemetery. You got to do it.
Yep.
I love these kind of stories, man. The one where you get the, the direct kind of, almost like confirmation, right? Because she goes up to the grave, it doesn't work, moves away, it does work. And, two very similar experiences in two very different cemeteries. And, shout out to old HPL there.
Well, it would be crazy if she got tugged at Lovecraft's grave too,
It would be interesting also to have a communication with Lovecraft's spirit, considering he was a stone cold atheist. Yeah. he dies and then wakes up. He's like, "Fuck, I was wrong."
Oh, yeah, damn it.
No, but that also brings to mind something else that's kind of interesting. I wonder, Melissa, if you ever have these issues with your electronics at any other time, because I actually have an aunt who has issues with all of her electronic devices. She touches it and it doesn't work. She can't use, she has this very basic cell phone because she got smartphones and then they just don't work. They turn off, they don't work. It's very weird.
Yeah, maybe.
And she has issues with her computers and things like that. It's just it's very
maybe she's
weird
conducting a lot. Does she drag her feet? Because especially in the wintertime, you can conduct the static shock.
How many paranormal phenomena could be we just went out right out the window right there.
Right there.
Wait, did she drag her feet? That's it. Static electricity. That's it. I don't know, man. She did say it was raining, so I don't know how much static electricity she could have been generating.
Well, I meant your aunt,
Oh, her? I'll ask her next time. Wait, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, oh my God.
That's it. That's the answer.
I can get the iPhone 13 now.
No, I like that. And especially the whole, this slab that she found in the, in this cemetery and, wanting to look in and look closer and then just, maybe something just reaching beyond the veil telling you, hey, why don't you get the fuck out of here?
And, too, I'm digging the audio submissions. I would like, I want to get more because, we're us reading them, it's coming from us, so
I hate my own voice. Please, somebody.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it, and Melissa, thank you very much. And we got another one. We got another one from you too. We'll be using.
Yes.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right, so back to our antics.
Back to our antics. Okay.
The Flatwoods Monster.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
West Virginia's number 2 cryptid.
That's right. Yep.
Hey man, that's good for them. They got got 2 cryptids. I mean, the other one is the big boy is the Mothman.
Our boy Mothman.
Yep. But then we got this little dude right here.
I don't know about little, Monster. Man. I don't know about little.
That is true. That is true. Unless it's, well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
The thing I love about the Flatwoods Monster, whoever designed it, mwah.
Yeah.
I mean, is this some kind of like intergalactic, like, fashion victim? Like what, like.
Right. Or it's, it's the next thing, like it's next up from like the German guys from our last listener story. This was
right. Well, this is 1952. It didn't catch on.
Right. Yeah. Good call.
Well, 12 foot tall, green skirt and, a spade shaped head. It just didn't stop.
Yeah. We'll get into the looks and everything, but so do you want to take the backstory of the first sighting, or you want me to hop on that?
I think I'll go for it. Okay. I have the good general outline, and we'll go too in depth. But around 7:15 p.m. on September 12th of 1952, 2 brothers, Edward and Fred May, who went by Eddie and Freddie May. Like,
get out of here! Really?
Yeah. Edward and Fredward.
And Fredward.
I don't know. And their friend Tommy Heyer said that they saw a bright object cross the sky and land on the property of this local farmer, Mr. Fisher. So the boys, they race home to their mother, Kathleen, and they tell the story. So Kathleen says, well, let's go see what's going on. She accompanies the 3 boys, and along with, I don't know how he comes into the story because it's never put it, but it's a West Virginia National Guardsman, Eugene Lemon. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he was there to, check the water heater.
Or he was there to tap that.
That was what I was alluding to, but they never say how he antics. Sure. So this motley crew goes over to the Fisher farm in an effort to locate whatever it was that the boys had just seen. The group reached the top of the hill, where Nunley said they saw a pulsing red light. Lemon said he aimed a flashlight in that direction and momentarily saw a tall, man-like figure with a round, red face surrounded by a pointed hood-like shape. Right? Descriptions varied slightly. In an article for Fate magazine, based on his tape-recorded interviews, UFO writer Gray Barker, the legendary Gray Barker, described the figure as approximately 10 feet tall, with a round blood-red face, a large pointed hood-like shape around the face, eye-like shapes which emitted greenish-orange light. Greenish-orange?
What? Yeah, what color is that?
Brown? And a dark black or green body. May, the mother, described the figure as having small claw-like hands, clothing like folds that reminded of her drapes at home, okay, and a head that resembled the ace of spades.
Right.
Okay. According to the story, when the figure made a hissing sound and glided toward the group, Lemon, the guy, screamed and dropped his flashlight. How high did he scream? How high did he scream? Like,
I can't even do it.
Like falsetto, like
yeah. Oh my God, my tits would have exploded. I don't even know. I lost my mind.
I think that's what happened to him.
Right.
I said, right here it says tits exploded.
Yeah.
So he screams, drops his flashlight, and and the rest of the group runs away. The group, this is kind of interesting. The group said that they had smelled a pungent mist, and some later said they were nauseated. Dude, Lemon shit himself.
Right.
That was
the pungent mist blew out of his pants.
Seriously. Insert Scooby-Doo run, The local sheriff and a deputy had been investigating reports of a crashed aircraft in the area. They searched the site of the reported monster, but saw, heard, and smelled nothing.
Yeah, they were like, I don't know, nothing's pungent out here. I don't know.
And then according back to Gray Barker's account the next day, A. Lee Stewart Jr. of the Braxton Democrat claimed that to have discovered skid marks in the field and an odd gummy deposit. All right, this is weird.
Yeah.
Which were
gummy deposit.
Yeah, okay. Which were subsequently attributed by UFO enthusiast groups as evidence of a quote unquote saucer landing.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yep. According to former news editor Holt Byrne, newspaper stories were carried throughout the country. Radio broadcasts were carried on large networks, and hundreds of phone calls were received from all parts of the country. The National Press Services rated the story number 11 for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mothman was the first 4,
yeah, 100%. Yeah. A minister from Brooklyn came to question the May family, which they just reiterated, and a Pittsburgh paper sent a special reporter.
Wait, did you say a minister?
A minister, yeah. A minister from Brooklyn came to question the family. Maybe he thought it was demons. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. That's just funny to me.
Yep. And then, I also mentioned that Gray Barker, who was, legendary UFO and Fortean writer, along with Ivan T. Sanderson, also showed up to investigate. Yeah. So that's the nuts and bolts of it.
Right.
This crew, 3 kids, the mom and Uncle Eugene,
AKA old shit pants lemon,
Seriously. That's a weird character. I think he was probably a man in black. Maybe, maybe Eugene Lemon was just the prototype for Indrid Cold.
Well, I have a theory that I'll get into later with that man involving this, but.
All right. Well, what do you got? What do you think?
Well, all right. So let's first start with this theory. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So our listeners who back in last November, about a year ago, we did our Mothman series and we got into Indrid Cold that we basically determined in the long run is an intergalactic bounty hunter. Basically,
right, he is.
Yeah, and he's hunting, all these different cryptids. He just, ended up. The Mothman is a wily motherfucker. So he's like, let me stop someone and ask some questions here. So he had to do a little more research. But so on his way, I'm thinking the Flatwoods Monster is like his, robot companion, kind of like Launchpad McQuack, kind of like half robot, half organic.
Oh, you mean, what was it, like not Turbo Duck? What the hell was that thing called?
That was DuckTales.
Right? What was the name? Launchpad was the
pilot. Yeah, the Robo Duck or Turbo Duck, whatever.
Was it Robo Duck?
He's basically his half by, or here's a better reference, or like a what do you call it? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The Alan. What's it? Mikeman friggin', his robot buddy, right? So he's like, all right, I'm going to start over here in Point, Pleasant, and you start over here in Flatwoods, and he was doing some investigating, with his, bionic.
He was
detection.
doing the robot while doing it. I see your motions.
Like, and then these people come with their flashlight, and he's like, they're contaminating the evidence. So what does he do? Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
So yeah, he's
I was gonna say I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. I would add here's my addendum to it.
Okay.
So 1952. Here's my better version, I should say.
All right.
Oh, yours was cute. Here's my version. Yeah. Okay, so this is 1952. This is way before the Mothman incident. So I say that the Flatwoods Monster was Indrid Cold coming to Earth. That was his Hulkbuster suit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was in there, pops open. He crash lands. Maybe he had some issues. Maybe he had a fight. And maybe had some kind of like space dog fight with Zip Zap and Bleak Blurp.
Oh,
crashes to Earth. Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So and when they showed up, it was in sentry mode. When Tony Stark gets out and he's like sentry mode, and they're it's like that's what it was. So he was in the area getting some tacos or burritos. I don't know,
or like foraging or something, building some kind of hut.
Okay.
Hey man, he needs lodging. I mean, do we assume that he's got intergalactic space bucks that he could spend everywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. He can print it.
Oh shit. Okay.
He can print any money he needs in any place. He just way better than Doc Brown. He doesn't have a case full of this shit. He just has a printer that prints just pristine
it's like
cash.
Ziggy from Quantum Leap, right? He's just like beep, bleep, 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 and it just
poor Dean Stockwell. He just passed.
I had to throw it in there. R.I.P. R.I.P.
Ziggy. I mean, this is facts we're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Seriously though, this is a weird sighting, man. I mean, out of all of the cryptid, I mean, that's the thing right there, right? That it can be classified as both a UFO sighting and as a cryptid at the same time. Do we have any other creatures that fall into both categories like that?
No. Well, they try to do it with like Bigfoot, like saying it's an interdimensional spirit, but it's like, shut up, Like the thing is like, all right. So first off, when you're looking at the original drawing and also like the one they do with like to scale of a human. Yeah. First of all, that shape, when they did Independence Day, they based that head-on look kind of with the hands and the head and the haunch, right? Yep. They're like, we have to do something cool with the legs, but they totally took that and they use that in their design. That's the first thing I want to say there. But all right. So I know this is classified as a cryptid, right? But then there's other people like, is it an alien? I mean, from the way it apparently looks, and then there's some people that say it's got like metal dressing too, like it varies from
cyborg.
Right. And it varies in a weird way where it's like, I hope that's not a cryptid. I hope these things aren't just out there in, the swamps, doing this kind of shit.
I mean, if we're not saying right out of the offhand, right in the beginning that it's nonsense, which I'm not. But if we're saying, okay, what could this have, what could have this been? And there's some kind of crashing from space is like, right there. You know what I mean? Like this sounds like some kind of like mechanical thing that crashed. These morons come up, they're checking it out. Yeah. And I think they just, showed up at like, at like the wrong time. Like maybe, maybe this creature alien cyborg thing was like taking a mechanical piss and it was like, they're like, and they just, it was just bad time for everybody.
The creepy part to me though is like the hiss, right?
Yeah.
So like if it is maybe in that time, it's some kind of machinery. It's like,
exactly.
Interpreted the hiss as, some kind of like steampunk friggin' little guy
ready to just rain fury down on, but or literally what was going to happen was like the little alien from Men in Black was in there. It was just going to be like,
right. He's like, shit,
Yep. He just came for pierogies and then now all his bullshit's going on.
Well, the fucked up thing too is imagine if this thing caught up with him. You know what I mean? Like it's hovering off the ground. It's 10 feet tall. It's got what I'm assuming is a pointy fucking head. I'm going to say that thing's sharp, I don't know.
It's got to have rockets.
Right. And maybe it even turns and becomes a giant rocket itself,
And that's another thing people had suggested, like for these explanations that people have come across. You have the people who, discount aliens, cryptids, and just right off the bat, they don't even consider that. They're like, well, maybe it was a crashed experimental rocket of some sort, you know? And you go out there and you have these yokels who are just like, hey, what crashed? And they're out there, their heads are filled with sci-fi bullshit. They've been watching, whatever.
Yeah. Whatever's out back then.
Whatever they've been watching back then, some nonsense. And they go out there and they see this thing and, in the right light or something and just, shining lights and maybe it was somewhat wrecked and, there's just this weird smell that comes out because, maybe it crashed and it's leaking gas or some kind of, vapor. I don't know what the fuck.
Fuel they don't know about.
No, they don't know about any of this.
Yeah, right.
All we know is that Lemon shit himself.
Yes. Fact.
Yeah. Yep, fact. So I think there's so many ways. I mean, like there's a lot of good explanations. Like if you want to believe it's an alien, it's a fucking alien. If you want to believe it's some weird creature that escaped from some local, some local military base that was, it was an alien that crashed here and they've been experimenting on it for years and it's part robot.
Like my thought process on the cryptid aspect of it, it's like
Cryptid usually means animal to me.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So like what biologically would make something look like this in that environment? You know what I mean?
Because I even think the name cryptid means like hidden animal or like unknown animal.
Yeah,
so
that's why it's cryptozoology, you know?
What?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah. Not for the listeners that don't know.
Wow.
Cryptozoology. Zoology.
Yeah. It's like 18 O's.
Yeah. And there's a slide whistle.
Exactly. Or a theremin.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking at this thing, I would expect the theremin. You know, that's what
I
I'm
hope
hear.
that's what's playing behind us right now. Like just cheesy 1950s like sci-fi noises.
Yeah. Which is like someone just hitting like a metal sheet or something. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Leaning a little heavy on the theremin again, huh, guys? Yeah. Well, that's what we got.
Yeah. It's what we got.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So then there's I'm going to leave this one till last because this one just makes me laugh.
Yeah, okay.
So there's the owl explanation, right?
Oh,
yeah. I hate this one. Because it just discounts everything. Because this is what I love. Here we go. So there's in the year 2000, 48 years later. Come on, fucking Joe Nickel. I don't know who he is, but I hate him. From the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry, aka the Fun Police. He concluded that the bright light in the sky reported by the witnesses on September 12th was most likely a meteor. Okay. That the pulsating red light was likely an aircraft navigation or hazard beacon, and that the creature described by witnesses closely resembled an owl. Nichols suggested that witnesses' perceptions were distorted by their heightened state of anxiety. Nichols' conclusions are shared by a number of other investigators, including those of the Air Force. Okay, so he's a mark for the government, all right? He's out there trying to cover some shit up.
Yeah. But real quick, so what is it? A barn owl? They said.
Yes.
So let's break down a barn owl real quick. Okay. They were like, oh well, its face is brownish red, so that's where you get the red face. But the biggest flaw, first of all, is they say this thing is around 10 feet tall, right?
Right.
Barn owls are like 11 to 15 inches, I think, at max. So it's like inches. You're talking about a foot difference to add 9 more of those, you know?
Yeah.
Is it 9 barn owls standing on each other like little rascals?
That would be an event in itself. I mean, how'd they do that?
Hey, man.
Actually, it was a giant barn owl, 12 feet tall. It's like, well, then what are we talking about here, guys?
Yeah, that's a little scary, you know?
Yeah. Now, there is corroboration for this sighting of this meteor. The night of September 12th, a meteor had been sighted across 3 different states, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. So we know that night that definitely happened. Right. But if it's a meteor, it may not even hit. That's his point. Like it can burn up in the atmosphere and there is no, crash or whatever. So, according to the Fun Police again, 3 flashing red aircraft beacons were also visible from the area of the sightings. What does that mean? Like, so you see this, then over this way, oh look, there's a red flashing light, and then over here, oh look, there's an owl. I don't. That explanation's shit. Yeah,
fucking Chuck Rack over here.
There it is, and the red tint on the face of the supposed monster. It just it's too. He's grasping for straws. Now I understand you want to really figure out what this thing is, but swamp gas from Venus, reflected off of it doesn't work for me. And it says, had them saying that it's shared by a number of other investigators. No, it's not. Yeah.
What other, the crack team you put together over there at the Air Force,
So here, he also concluded that the shape, movement, and sounds reported by witnesses were also consistent with the silhouette, flight pattern, and call of a startled barn owl perched on a tree limb. If you're in like a heightened state of anxiety, fine. But you turn a barn owl into like a giant mechanical creature with red glowing eyes and a fucking and I don't know, man. I mean,
well, first of all, so the shape of a barn owl's face is kind of, if you turn it upside down, will kind of look like this thing, right? So it has that kind of ace upside down pattern, right? So what? The barn owl's upside down. Its legs or feet are like over
doing
here.
a lot of shit that owls don't do. Yeah.
Yeah. Its wings are straight down, and it's doing its new adaptive curtain thing that it does that this one barn owl figured out how to do.
I don't know, because then they also said that to explain for this the size difference was that maybe like the owl like swooped at them with the claws. I'm like, what? You would remember that shit? I mean, like you're in a heightened state of anxiety, so now things don't look like the things that they are.
Yeah. No, that's
you know what I mean?
Explain it away.
I don't know, man.
That's a wacky explanation. I mean, look, this is what we saw, right? They all say, yeah, we saw this. It's this. They all agreed on the drawing,
Yeah.
And if that's what they saw, not a fucking barn owl. Like that's where I'm dropping the hammer. No, not a barn owl.
No. I mean, even if it didn't happen, even if it was overactive imaginations, or if they just got together and like, hey, we're bored, let's do this thing, which is not outside of the realm of possibility.
Right. No,
I can't accept this owl nonsense. I can't. It's too far flung.
Right. Well, then also too, there's the other explanation of where people will say, well, they saw all the financial success that Mothman was having for that part of West Virginia.
Yeah, but this is way before.
That's what I'm saying. This is before. So what I'm saying is, it's like, what do you mean? Like, why would they do that? Because that literally, I was in my research, I saw that a bunch. I'm like, what?
Yeah, dude, 1966.
Yeah, so Mothman being in 1966.
Yeah.
This is 1952.
Yeah.
How are they trying to capitalize on the success maybe years later by making restaurants and chairs and adopting that as like a mascot?
Yeah, but like Mothman took off immediately.
Right.
And then later they came back with, like, I think it was after the fact. Like they saw how well Mothman did, and they're like, oh, well, let's beef this up and like come up with, And the original people who saw this, like after they saw it, they were like, okay, well, here it is. They gave their story, but then after that, they weren't like seeking fame after that. They said their piece and that was it. Yeah.
So that's why I'm just like, throw that out the window. Like, if we're going to bring that to, the forefront, cool. Right. They have a cool monster. Like, why not run with it?
Right.
That has nothing to do with the credibility of the original report. That doesn't have anything to do with, that's why they fabricated this thing.
Sure. Unless you're watching a show called Monster Quest on the History Channel, where they make a completely different version of the thing that isn't even close to the descriptions, and have some rando guy in there who's like, oh yeah, I saw it too, I was there, and like it was a fucking monster, and it was like a lizard man, and I think it was an Illuminati shapeshifter, and it was on this mechanical thing. It looked like Jabba the Hutt but smaller. I don't know. Like that one is beyond me.
You tell me what it looked like. I'll just say.
Yeah. What did you say? I should say it says.
Yeah.
What does it look like? Whatever you say, I'll say it.
Well, yeah, that report was like what? It was like a woman and her husband. They were in a car driving. I forget what year it was. Yeah. And what was that? Where was that? It was. They call it Bixie. That's what they changed the name of it to. What is it?
Braxy.
Braxy. Yeah. Okay, so that's Braxton County. Okay, yeah, but so it was in Braxton County as well. This other sighting, and so it was a woman and her husband driving in the car, and apparently this thing kind of like stopped them in the road, and it like ran its claw across their car, and she was like,
it's so silly that I can't like.
Yeah, and the way they described it, it was so it had the same kind of skirty bottom and almost the same kind of arms, but there was like no helmet, and it had like a lizard head.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, so what? It lost its helmet, and that's what you're going with here. Like, we saw it better.
Yeah, I think it was. Here's what I think for specifically the Monster Quest. And if you folks haven't seen this, go ahead and seek it out because it's pure trash. Specifically, the recreation of the creature that they make for the fucking show. I think that, and this is the truth, the people who are still alive who are involved in it really don't want to talk about it anymore. They just don't want to give interviews anymore. So I think they needed a new person to talk about their experience. So they paid these two yokels, hey, say you were attacked by this thing on the road. And they're like, yeah, okay, sure. And
like,
I literally think that's what it was.
Here's a $300 gift certificate to Old Country Buffet.
Yep, you got to use it in one visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think had happened there. And I don't even include that. Like, I think that whatever this sighting was, whatever the Flatwoods Monster was, I think it was an isolated incident, clearly, because there has never been another sighting, and I don't accept this one from 2000 or whatever year it was.
Yeah.
And I think it was some kind of either like something crashed and it was like they kind of caught it at this awkward moment, or some kind of, you know, secret plane technology, something that our government was developing, crashed, and they just happened to come upon it. Yeah, it's one of those two things. It's not an owl. It's not, you know, creatures running around the woods.
The one of the more compelling aspects of it for me too is the fact of the description, the drawing, and like the design of it, right? Like, when is the you know, you get a million of the grays, you get a million of the reptilian, you get a million of, like, you know, and they're all usually the same, like 3 or 4 things. And this thing is just totally out of the box. It's from 1952. It's you know, it doesn't look like anything else that everyone is latching on to. And it's just this thing. You know, there's you're not, maybe you see the thing in the sky, but it's not a saucer, it's just a light. And you know, it's this crazy fucking thing. And I mean that, like, this, you know, this image, Japan loves it. Their alien culture.
Yeah, I mean, there's they love the design just of it, because the design is so cool. So it pops up here and there because, God, I've seen a million of these little like Keshi figurines of just the Flatwoods, and then you know, they love Mothman too. But I think, like we said, it's so interesting because it's so singular, you know, and you don't see anything else like this. And I don't know what it was, but like, I kind of like to believe like that is the ship and there was a creature in there.
Yeah. I like, maybe it was like
an Iron Man suit.
Yeah. Right. But it's like a reconnaissance kind of deal. You know, it's like a pod, you know, like the ship's up there and I just came down to do some exploring.
Yeah.
And that's at someone.
Yep. No, something to that effect. And it's just a cool fucking monster, man. Like, I love the fact that this exists. Like, this lore exists. Like, you could go to this town and there's a story that exists that some people saw this one day. And I just think it's awesome.
Definitely. And it was funny. I was just like, earlier when I was looking up pictures, just, you know, Google images. And then like on the 4th row, I saw what your CryptoCast, and I was like, that's pretty funny. I was like, how about that? That's funny.
Yeah. Hey man, I like the design of it. And
it's an awesome
years ago. I did a bunch of cryptid pieces, and I was like, you got to do this guy because he's fucking awesome.
He is, and that might be what's like the staying power of this, you know, kind of story.
100% is. It has a striking design.
Yeah, and like,
because how many different places in the country have like a version of Bigfoot? You're like, get fucked. Who cares?
Yeah, right. They're like, our Bigfoot's got braids though. It's good.
Ours is a skunk ape. It smells.
Look out. Then
ours like, has yellow eyes, not the traditional brown eyes. Okay, relax.
Yeah, then some fucking guy comes in. He's like, ours travels through the dimensions.
Like, no, he doesn't.
And has has cloaking device fur that it adapted in nature to be. Like,
it's like, all right, get him out of here.
Yeah. No, they're like, put him on
put him on Monster Quest.
Yeah, put him on that show.
See if we can get him to the haunted museum with Zach and just see what happens.
No, even that guy Zach would be like, "You're an asshole."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Zach's like, "I'm not hanging out with you."
Exactly. If folks are interested, and you must be if you're listening to this, there is a guy who lives in Flatwoods. He's an artist who creates these. They're ceramic lamps, and he's the guy who's been creating them since, and they're still available. They're like $25 each. Before this is not available anymore, because this guy's got to be old, because he's been creating them since like the 50s. I got one last year. It's awesome. I mean, it's your typical ceramic thing. I have it on my desk. It's so fucking cool. And if you get one, it's still from this guy. So if you're getting one of these, you're kind of like getting part of the legend, kind of, because he was the first guy to ever sculpt this thing. And they're still available through this dude's shop. They're cheap. if you just search for it, you'll find it. Just search like Flatwoods Monster ceramic or ceramic lamp, I believe, and it'll come up. And they're readily available. And it got to me in like a week and a half. And
That's
I was
awesome.
like, this is fucking, and it's big too. It's like over a foot tall.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no. So like, and it's like all those old school like Christmas or Halloween ones where you like put the lamp in the bulb in the back and turn on his eyes light. It's so cool.
So cool.
Yeah. No. Every weirdo should have one of these. So.
That's good.
That's
good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm going to consider it canon. I'm considering it, ODP canon.
Oh, dude, something definitely happened here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I said, who knows whether it was an alien that crashed to Earth or some kind of experimental spacecraft that our government was developing, but something definitely happened here, and these people definitely saw something. And the fact that it's like, I don't know, that a state has two major cryptids, or it's like the state got the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan in one fucking state.
Nice.
Yeah. No,
Well,
it's
and for me too, a big thing of considering it our canon, it has to have a black and white photo of people posing with something. You know what I mean? So it's got like the two that's all with like the drawing, and it's like, well, all right. I'm like, fact, proof.
Right. I mean, and should it also be, one of the things that makes it canon, someone has to have shit themselves when they saw it? Because, I mean, we got that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's most people don't even shit themselves when they see a Bigfoot. You got this and a Wendigo.
Right.
I think this deserves a Wendigo riff.
And more importantly, I mean, Peter James, what do you think of this, buddy?
I'm coming through.
Yeah, he's in.
He's in.
If he's in, I'm in.
Yeah. All right, guys, it's canon. Boom. And we're this isn't legends. This is canon. So we gotta.
Right. I mean, because we're the deciding factor on all this shit.
Well, yeah, for our realm, for our world.
Right. No. For all time and all everything. We decide.
We're the okay. Yes. Judge, jury. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And possible executioner.
Yeah, but we've sent a lot of things to the chum bucket, bro.
We have.
Yeah. And I do it again, and I do it again.
I know. Oh, so there it is, man. Flatwoods Monster.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, any closing statements on this one?
Closing statements for Flatwoods Monster. Caught me off guard with that one. Closing statements on Flatwoods Monster. I don't think we can have closing statements. We just it's a mystery, man.
Yeah, I was just gonna say antics.
Antics. Yeah, that too.
Antics. Oh man. Yeah, this thing, guys, if you haven't seen it, definitely Google it. There's a million different iterations that it's been in video games since like the 90s.
Yeah, it was in
80s.
Wasn't it in Fallout 76?
Yeah, they didn't Fallout 76. There was it was in a golf game called like Everyone's Golf. Like you hit a ball out and it pops out. Japan, dude, they love it. It was in. Was
he was the Flatwoods Monster? Was he like part of like miniature golf? Did he like stand there and you had to hit the ball like into like his head and he rolled out the back?
if you like hit it into the, like off the green into like the woods, it would like pop out from behind a tree and like fuck your ball and like kick it.
I'll see you in the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's in a couple like side scroller old school like NES games. It's a fucking design, man. It's like I like them coming up with it. Do you think like the artist who was like taking like their description and like Tony was like, oh, this fucks.
He's like he's drawing it. He's like, these motherfuckers. He's like, I've been trying to come up with something this fucking cool, and these idiots are out there, drinking Drano and then going out to the woods to fucking see some shit, and they come back with this beautiful design. So, I'm gonna fuck it up a little bit and give it little arms.
Yeah. Oh man, the little arms. His fucking little arms. They're like, no, they were bigger. He's like, no, I think this is it.
No, this is it.
Yeah, this is good.
And then he came forward like a decade later and was like, he's like, actually, I added the big arms because their design was just unbalanced.
Or like, he's like, he fucks them out in a skirt,
We clearly stated it had powerful robotic legs, and he gave it a skirt.
Skirt. He's like, they named it Mary, and then
so also on topic, because it's whatever we want to talk about. How are we getting through the post Halloween blues? How we doing?
Ooh, baby, I'll tell you right fucking now. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from when we're recording this. Yeah. Ghostbusters Afterlife, bro.
Yes, that is going to be fantastic. But dude, November 1st. I mean, I know it's your birthday, but November 1st, I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you folks, but the day after Halloween is like, ugh. What do you do? You're just like, what am I supposed to do now?
You know what haunts me? My my grandpa, we'd go to visit him every Christmas day, right? Mm-hmm. So that's when we went and did presents with them. My mom would take us over, and he would say that his dad always said it to him, so he has to say it to us. Christmas is never as far away as it is right now. And I tell myself that every Halloween when I'm on my way home from whatever I'm doing, and I just sit down in front of the TV. Yeah. And I'm like, it's never as far away as it is right now. And did you break something?
Yes, I just broke my fucking leg.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. No, that's a great sentiment, and it's always helpful. But I what makes it kind of go too fast or just be too. I don't like these Halloween countdowns. It's like, why are you counting down?
Right.
That means that Halloween, after October 31st, it's over, man. Enjoy the journey. Because, yes, Halloween the 31st is it's the big day. It's but we savor the whole fucking season, man.
Right.
Don't rush to the place.
Yeah.
All the good shit happens the whole month. And dudes, it's September and October. Who the fuck are we kidding?
Right.
That's spooky season. So I don't know, I understand the excitement clearly, but why are we racing towards the 31st? Enjoy it, man. Savor the fucking flavor, because the next day, nobody wants to hear fucking Halloween. Next day, I went to the gas station and they were playing, I shit you not, first thing I heard was fucking Mariah Carey. All I want for Christmas is you.
Well, I was getting pissed off too, because it wasn't even Halloween. It was Halloween. It was the Halloween, the last week there. And I'm seeing Target's Christmas commercials and shit. And I'm like,
dude, fuck Target. Yeah. They fucked Halloween up this year too. Fuck Target. Target, if you're listening, because I know you're not, fuck you this year. Your Halloween shit was the worst. This was the worst year in many aspects. And I know there were things to blame for it. There was all these shipping issues, and I've had to deal with this shit too with my business. But dude.
Well, I did end up getting.
But it didn't stop him from getting this goddamn Christmas shit out. You know, the week of Halloween. It's sacrilege.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, see, the whole month of Halloween, or the whole month of Halloween, but the whole season, leading up.
It is the month of Halloween.
Yeah, but even September too. I'm doing myself a disservice if I'm not when I'm finally out of work, done doing whatever I'm doing, my errands. When I'm sitting down to chill, if I'm not doing something involving a horror movie, a ghost show, a cryptid show, something. If I'm not doing something in the spirit, I'm just I'm doing myself a disservice. And that's literally what I tell myself. I'm like, you're fucking, you're watching, New Girl right now, bro. Get into something. Come on, man.
No, and it's funny because and I think we kind of missed the boat because now I don't even care anymore. But Christina, my wife, was like, "Oh, let's watch Squid Game." I'm like, "I'm not watching that. It's fucking Halloween." Yeah. After, and then now it's after. I'm like, I don't watch that.
Yeah, I watched it. It was cool until the ending, and I was like, eh.
Yeah, it's whatever. But you're totally right. You got to savor the flavor for the whole season. And I get it, folks. If you're posting these countdowns, but dude, I'm telling you, you're doing yourself a disservice by posting countdowns to Halloween because you're rushing it.
Right. And you're also reminding yourself it's this many days. I just go, no, I don't even, I'm just like, okay, this day's Halloween. And I go, okay, is it a weekend? What day is it? And I got me and my wife, we take off for, let's say the week of and a couple days after, because our birthday's on November 1st. She's November 2nd. So we take off this block, and then I'm like, all right, all out crazy, all that. But before that, I'm just I'm in my car. I'm like, it always feels like somebody's watching me. You know, I'm like, you know, I pulled up to her job the other day. It was like September 30th, and I'm pulling up out front. I got the song from the Labyrinth playing because it popped up on Halloween radio.
There you go.
Jump, magic jump, and I'm just like looking at her and bobbing my head, and like everyone in the parking lot's like, who's this asshole? What's this song? I'm like, it's David Bowie, motherfucker. Yeah,
seriously. And anytime and you can put on the Monster Mash anytime you want.
Oh my God, period. Dude, I went to Penhurst, or not Penhurst. I went to Bates Motel on Mischief Night with my wife, my buddy, and his fiance. And I got Halloween music blaring on the way up, and the Monster Mash came on, and I was like, yo, like I was like, dog, like, yo. First of all, I started going off like, yo, and then it came on again later. I was like, nah, we're doing it again, motherfucker.
You don't turn that song off.
No, you don't. It's you just hear that when you just I just fucking working in the lab. I start fucking popping and locking and shit.
It's just like in Gone in 60 Seconds when they have to listen to Lowrider. It's the same fucking thing, but it's with Monster.
Yep. Oh man, that song is so good.
And, but as always, we're sad that it's over, but I like to think that like November is kind of like, it's still the spooky season. And I kind of call it like, the Halloween after party, because we're still in this, it's the fall, man. We're still in this, you still got the atmosphere. You can still, celebrate that spooky shit. And I know people listen to this probably celebrate the shit all year long, just like I do. And I know just like you do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. In short, you do whatever the fuck you want. You want to keep Halloween decorations? Fucking keep them up. I mean, half my house is decorated for Halloween all year long anyway. So,
oh, I did want to tell you.
Sad about.
I did want to tell you, and this would be cool to tell on the podcast. So I did go to Bates Motel, right? It's one of the best in the country. Like it was on all those shows and shit. But one cool thing they did, because of COVID, they didn't want to run the hayride, have everyone hunt, stuffed in together. So what they did was they converted the hayride into a walkthrough. So it was like super long, and it was super cool to be that close to the props and actually walking like with the animatronics and stuff. And I was like, wow.
Play like new metal from like 2004, like some Flyleaf or something.
No, that's Valley of Fear. That's up here.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, but no, it was totally cool, man. I was like, whoa, like, all right.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool thing they did there. So props to Bates Motel at Arisafa Farms in Glen Mills, PA.
Wow.
Good work, gang.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for a place to finally catch on and be like, okay, people do like Christmas light walkthroughs. When are we going to have like Krampus walkthroughs? Like you have the lights, but then you turn like a part like a Frozen horror section. Like, dude, there's horror hounds who love this shit all year long. Yeah. When is someone going to figure that out?
Yeah, it's like, oh, you like money?
Yeah, seriously.
Hey, you like money? You like?
It's like, oh, did you come to watch the lights? Do you want like the kindergarten version, or do you want to go through like the frozen waste horror land over here, where like I'm like, sign me up for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's like people show up and they're always like, is there a place where like kids are getting killed? Can I walk through that?
Exactly.
A big Christmas monster eating kids.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, if someone literally set up that the Christmas monster eats kids, dude, they hand over fist. You make money hand over fist.
That was just an impression of me every time I go to like a light show or something.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm like, hey, $20. Do monsters attack you in here for Christmas? Because that'd be really cool if that happened.
So right now you're doing an impression of yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So that means it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah. All right, guys. For this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I'm Ken James.
And I'm Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other danger.